Good morning students. So today we are going to start with chapter number 1 of our syllabus of unit number 1. Chapter number 1 is a review of Python basics. Remember students, I already discussed with you that some portion of 11th standard will actually be coming in 12th standard. So students, this is that chapter where Python concepts of 11th standard will be revised and the pattern of questions will be asked from this. Now, although there are so many topics in this chapter students, that is means linked to 11th standard, but in this video I will be discussing some of the important factors only from this chapter. Other topics can be revised by you from 11th standard. Okay, so let us start the chapter revision of Python basics. Now, whenever we started working with Python students, remember in 11th standard, Python had working of two types. One was script mode, another was interactive mode. Okay, you should remember the difference that whatever coding we are generally doing in Python for creating in the programs and other things, all those coding is generally in script mode. Because what is the advantage of script mode over interactive mode? We are always able to save our files in the script mode and later on we can rework on those files. But sadly that is not the case with interactive mode, and script mode files can be edited later on while interactive mode cannot be saved, so there is no talk of editing it later on. Okay. Then we discussed about certain data types in 11th standard. So before moving ahead with any other topic, I would like to throw light and revise on some of the data types that we discussed in 11th standard, which is a part of this chapter. Students, as you can see, I have drawn a small chart pertaining to the data types. Major data types are numeric or numbers, none, sequences, sets and mappings. Okay. So let us see one by one in short with example. Numeric data type has four subtypes: integer, float, complex and boolean. Now, integer is simple to understand. Suppose we are taking x equal to 10. That is a type of integer data type. Okay, generally it will take the numbers in certain order. Float means we are taking the decimal point, we are taking the floating point number. Suppose I am taking y equal to 16.82. This is a number of what data type? Float. Do not forget students, complex data type or complex numeric data type is of the form a plus b j, when a is the real part, b is the imaginary part. Suppose I take an example students, say 7 plus 4j. So what is the real part? 7 is the real part. What is the imaginary part? 4 is the imaginary part. And as you know students, boolean has two types. One is true, another is false. Okay, and just make sure small mistakes that you were making in 11th standard regarding boolean, do not write boolean true as true or false as this. It has to be written in the camel case, that is true with T capital and false with F capital. Okay, so this was the numeric data type. We had one data type which we did not use that much, but at least we should know the meaning of that. That data type is none. We are using none data type when no value is available to a variable. Okay, the use of none data type is there when we do not want to specify any value to a given variable. That time it is actually used. We were not also using that much sets, but just for understanding, set is an unordered collection of data. We do not have that much portion of set in our syllabus, so we won't be discussing. What we are going to discuss in depth is sequences. Students, you remember string, list, tuple and mappings, where we are connecting to things, that is dictionary. Dictionary, if you remember students, it is a combination of key value pair. Okay, so these are the major types of data types. I would like to repeat: numeric, okay, integer, float, complex, boolean. None, we are using none when there is no value available to any variable. Sequences, very important. String, we were mentioning string inside double quotes. we were mentioning list with square bracket, we were mentioning tuple with round bracket, and we were mentioning dictionary with curly bracket with key and colon with its specific value. Okay, so these are the types of data types that we are going to, you can say, see in this review of Python basics chapter. Okay, the next very important topic that we are going to see now in this chapter is dynamic typing. To make you understand this topic easily, let us take a small example. Suppose I am taking a variable x to be 20 and I am printing, say, the value of x. Then again I am taking the same variable x to be a string. Then I am printing again the same value of x. Suppose I am again taking x and this time I am taking it to be a float and I am printing this value. So when we execute this program, students, what can be the output? Output will be 20 computer science 17.091. Okay. So students, what did we see actually in this example? We are taking the same variable x. X can be assigned the value of an integer. X can be assigned the value of a string, that is computer science. X can be assigned the value of a float. So students, Python has this feature by which a single variable can be assigned multiple values of different data types. This feature of Python is called dynamic typing. I repeat once more, students. You observe the example. The variable x has been given multiple values, that is integer, string, float. This feature of Python by which a single variable can be assigned different data type values, this feature of Python is called dynamic typing. Okay, so dynamic typing is that feature of Python in which different values of different data types can be actually assigned to a variable. The next topic, students, that we are going to discuss is a topic that we well discussed in 11th standard, so we will not go into lot of detail of that. That topic is mutable and immutable types. Students, if you remember well, mutable means data types or values once assigned, values can be changed. Okay. And immutable is the reverse of that. It is data types or variables having values once assigned, values cannot be changed. Okay. Mutable and immutable had certain examples. In mutable types, the major examples were list, dictionary. If you remember well, the examples, once we were creating a list, we were able to change its individual elements. Once we were assigning a dictionary with key and values, we were able to change the value of any given key in a dictionary. Now there are certain immutable types also. The major one of them are string, tuple, and if we want, we can say take integer, float. For example, these values can be not changed, but major of them is string and tuple. These are of immutable types. Means once we have defined a string or a tuple, it is not that easy to change its contents or change its value. So this was mutable and immutable types. Let us see a small example of mutable and immutable types for revision. Suppose I am defining a list, say 1, 2, 3, 4. And suppose here I am defining a tuple 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now my target in both the cases is that I want to change this 3 into 300. Okay. I want to change this 3 into 300. Now don't forget about the indexing or traversing. What is the, you can say, index? 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay. So how do we change this 3 into 300? What we will do? We will write list name. We will write index And what is our new value that we want? We want 300. Now if we are printing our list, we will get the value as output, that is 1, 2, 304. Okay, this is how the values of a list can be changed. That is, list is of mutable types. Remember this traversing 0, we are starting with 1, 2, 3. We wanted to change 3 into 300, so we took the index of 2 and we changed into 300. That is, list is of the mutable type. Now students, if we try the same with tuple, remember indexing is also the same in tuple. We will write, okay, say T of 2 equal to 300, and if we now try to print this tuple, the output will give me an error saying that tuple is of the immutable type. That means we cannot change the elements of a tuple directly once it is actually specified. So this was mutable and immutable types along with examples. The next small topic that we are going to discuss, that is operators and operands. Those who have forgotten what are this, suppose we are taking an example A plus B, correct? Here addition or plus is the operator, and whatever it is working on, that is A and B, that is operand. Okay. In 11th standard we saw all these types of operators, so I won't be going into that much detail, that you can revise on your own, students. Arithmetic operators majorly dealt with the operations, that is unary and binary, addition and subtraction, division, then multiplication, that is product, exponent, and floor division. Okay, don't forget the difference between floor and division and normal division. Floor division will actually ignore the decimal part. Assignment operators we used to see like this: plus equal to, minus equal to, product equal to, divide equal to. What is the meaning of this? Let us see a small example. Suppose I am writing A plus equal to 7. So what is the technical meaning of this? A equal to A plus 7. Correct? B minus equal to 3. What is the meaning of this? B equal to B minus 3. Logical operator, we had majorly 3 of them: and, or, and, not. Relational operator majorly we used to compare. Suppose greater than, less than, greater than equal to, less than equal to, not equal to. Okay, so these were all the relational operators. So I am not going into very detail into this topic. This is a basic theory wise topic. You can refer to 11th standard for details and the types of operators. So these were operators and operands that are available in Python. Okay, next very important topic is typecasting. We already were doing typecasting. Maybe we do not, maybe we have not defined it earlier on, but this is the time to define. What is typecasting? Python has a feature, students, that allows us that we can change the data type of any given variable. This feature of Python is called typecasting. Just wait. If you remember this, A equal to 11, B equal to 2. What we were doing before dividing? Print float of A divided by float of B. I hope you remember this from 11th standard, students. So these A and B are of what type? They are of integer type. Now what will happen if I directly will say print A divided by B? What will happen? We will get only 5 because it is of integer type, and as you know, integer type will ignore the decimal part. So what we are doing here, we are converting integer into float. Again we are converting integer into float. So this feature of Python, by which we can change the data type of any given variable, is called typecasting. Now there are two kinds of typecasting, students. We will see about both of them now. Number one is explicit typecasting or explicit conversion. Number two is implicit typecasting or implicit conversion. Before we go into these examples of explicit and implicit, let us try to understand what is the meaning of this. First, let us see about explicit typecasting. Whenever we on our own change data type of a variable to another data type, that kind of typecasting is called explicit typecasting or explicit conversion. I would like to repeat, during coding, whenever we on our own change variable of means variable from one data type to another data type on our own, that kind of typecasting is called explicit typecasting. On the other hand, sometimes Python by itself changes data type of a variable. That kind of conversion or that type of typecasting is called implicit typecasting. So to be very simple, whenever data type of a variable is changed by us, that is explicit conversion or explicit typecasting. Whenever data type of a variable is changed by Python itself, it is called implicit conversion or implicit typecasting. Okay, now students, so let us see about explicit typecasting. Okay, as you have seen, we have some functions written about explicit typecasting. What is the meaning of this? This variable x will be changed into integer data type, variable x will be changed into float data type, variable x will be changed into string data type, and variable x will be changed into character data type. Let us see just two small examples. Okay, say example 1. Suppose you are told that you have to create a program which accepts only a 4-digit number. Correct? I repeat, you have to create a Python program which accepts only a 4-digit number. So suppose we have taken the number a equal to 1001. Now how we were doing in 11th standard? We were checking the length, but there is a catch. We cannot check the length of integer. So what we were doing? We were converting this into a string. So let us say m equal to str of a. What is the meaning of this? Integer data type is typecasted to string data type and that is taken into the variable m. So now how I will check? If length of m equal to 4, then say we will print a message that input is okay. Fine. So this is one example of typecasting. Another example of explicit typecasting can be, we just discussed that we are taking, let's say, any two numbers, say a equal to 20, b equal to 11. We want to divide with precise output. So what we were actually doing? We were doing print. Now we are using this explicit typecasting, float of a divided by float of b. So this is how explicit typecasting actually works, students. Now, we don't have that much examples regarding implicit typecasting. So I would just like to discuss in short. I repeat, whenever typecasting is done by Python, that kind of typecasting is called implicit typecasting, and implicit typecasting is sometimes also called as coercion by Python. Okay, there are no such examples because Python does this typecasting on its own. So implicit typecasting is also called coercion. So this was the topic of typecasting, that is important.